How do you optimize the performance of a slow iOS app? I use instruments to identify bottlenecks, optimize images, reduce view hierarchy complexity, and implement lazy loading. I also ensure efficient data storage and retrieval using core data or Realm. Can you explain the difference between structs and classes in Swift? Structs are value types, copied when passed, while classes are reference types, passed by reference. I use structs for data models and classes for view controllers and managers. How do you handle concurrency in iOS development? I use GCD, Grand Central Dispatch, for asynchronous tasks, ensuring thread safety with serial queues or dispatch barriers. I also leverage operation queues for dependencies and cancellations. What is your experience with iOS security and encryption? I've implemented SSL pinning, encrypted data storage using Keychain, and used Apple's Secure Enclave for sensitive data. I'm familiar with Common Crypto and OpenSSL libraries. Can you explain the iOS app lifecycle and delegate methods? The app lifecycle includes launch, active, inactive, background, and terminated states. I've implemented delegate methods like did finish launching, application will resign active, and did receive memory warning to handle these transitions. How do you handle errors and crashes in your iOS apps? I use a combination of try-catch blocks, error handling frameworks like Crashlytics or Fabric, and iOS's built-in error reporting tools like OS Crash Reporter. I also implement unit tests and UI tests to catch errors before release. Can you explain the concept of memory management in iOS development? I understand the concept of reference counting, retain cycles, and ARC, automatic reference counting. I use weak references and delegates to avoid retain cycles and ensure proper memory deallocation. How do you optimize the battery life of an iOS device in your apps? I minimize power-hungry tasks like location updates, networking, and sensor usage. I also use energy-efficient frameworks like Core Motion and Core Location and optimize my app's performance to reduce CPU usage. Can you explain the difference between UIKit and SwiftUI? UIKit is the traditional framework for building iOS UI, while SwiftUI is a modern declarative framework. SwiftUI uses a declarative syntax, is more concise, and integrates well with Combine and other Apple frameworks. How do you implement accessibility features in your iOS apps? I follow Apple's accessibility guidelines, use UI Accessibility Protocol, and implement features like VoiceOver, dynamic type, and large text. I also ensure color contrast and font size adjustments for users with visual impairments. Can you explain the concept of continuous integration and continuous deployment, CI/CD, in iOS development? I understand the importance of automating testing, building, and deployment processes using tools like Jenkins, Travis CI, or Circle CI. I've set up pipelines to ensure automated testing, code signing, and app deployment to the App Store.